I think this could be an excellent thing to talk about, Vinaya, that like other people who don't do psychedelics and don't have these spiritual connecting experiences, how can they know? Like they don't have really a connection to this, I'm gonna call it divine wisdom that is just like it's so much smarter than you. And
Oh yeah.
so, sorry?
I said, oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's so much bigger than us, right? As humans. And when me and Alex take plant medicine, or even when we smoke very good weed together, like magic happens. Like we're able to bring this genius that's given to us and write it down on paper and make it into something real. So when we talk about our working together and our relationship, how can they understand? They don't. So there's no they're gonna try to understand it through their lens where they
Yeah.
have no experience. Yeah.
And what is the question?
There is no question. I'm just commenting about this topic, like
Oh,
connecting it to plant medicine, which is of course one of your favorite areas, favorite topics, and which you know a lot about, because I can only imagine how much your relationship with your partner has been enhanced by either the healing part or the connecting part or the working together, like all of these. It just brings you so much closer. And let's think about your average man who doesn't even speak to his wife 10 hours a day because he's out, dealing with survival and jobs and all of that stress. And then he comes home, his wife is sick of him, he's sick of her. Like that's the average experience, right? They're so far away from what is divine and what is elevated, so they cannot understand. That's my point.
Divine
no.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's well, think, believe, know that once we start looking at ourselves and trying to find ourselves, find the divinity or this presence in ourselves, then we can have a wonderful relationship because it's not dependent actually on the others anymore that I'm fulfilled. I know that I'm absolutely content and happy on my own. And I enjoy the partnership, but there's no need, there's no requirement. There's absolute freedom between two people. And the plant medicine can give us definitely an insight in our divinity and in our presence and make us able to connect more with the divine, whatever that is. Don't ask me. It's like, it's an experience which can't be really explained.
Yeah. And what's going through my mind is like, while I know what you mean because I've experienced so much of it, um and you know if we're talking about 5-MeO DMT and no self and the experience of no self, that's like one experience. But most people, they're so attached and they're so needy. So in this story that I gave, where a guy comes home and he's upset at his wife because in his mind he's thinking, she did this to me and she did that to me, and I didn't get this, and she's thinking her own version of the same thing, and they're stuck at this bullshit, right? At this absolute joke, while people like us are we're, we're just, I don't even know how to call it, but like we're not doing that. Like we're having so much fun.
Yes, and this is such a interesting subject because like I remember when I came back the first time from India, having had like amazing experience, and I was in an underground station in Hamburg. And the thing is, what I think most people are afraid of is this insecurity. I have no idea where I'm going to be tomorrow and what I'm going to do and what. So I was in that space of really flowing and being like, I don't know. And then I saw all these people seemingly being very happy and doing their 9 to 5 things and being like looking forward to the holidays 3 weeks a year in Germany. And I somehow go like, wow, that's could be nice. But then I really saw behind them the facade they made, that most people have, well, we all have actually. And I could see that actually they are not happy. It's like a pretend happy. And then it was clear that, okay, I'd rather take the insecurity and not knowing than being in a box and like living a life which is not really fulfilling. I've heard from masters that that is their path and that's an experience people need to have in order to become more aware and conscious, kind of like Earth is a school. And so there's actually suddenly there was nothing wrong in my mind with how they live and what they do. It's their story, it's their journey, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I have my journey, and it's way different than the majority of the people. And we both have a place. We are both needed. And it's needed for me to be like this, and it's needed for them, so to speak, them, to be like that also. And there's nothing wrong with it. And the only thing we can do is through our experience and through our being present to give an example that, hey, it can be different. So if you want to, check it out. If you don't want to, hey, no worries. It's your life, it's your story, it's your journey. And on top of that, maybe if the enlightened masters were true, we've all been there. We just started maybe a little bit earlier, so we have a few more classes behind us and experiences and understandings. So yeah, and the easiest way to give a taste of there's more to life than just meets the eye are plant medicines and ethnogenetics, because they just circumvent our mind and our ego, and boom, we are present. Boom, we experience, oh yeah, right, there's more. Wow. And then we can slowly but surely step into this every day. Yeah.
I love Earth is a School. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere, but that's a great reminder. Thank you. And while you were talking, I agreed with every single thing that you said. And people, they have their stories. And from my perspective, those stories are hilarious. They're just mostly very funny. It's fun. It's a comedy show. That's that's what me and Alex are, we're laughing all the time, not in a malicious way, not in an egoic way, because I see other people suffering and I think it's funny. It's because it's just funny how controlled and both unaware, how to see it's like you see a dog chasing its own tail, but the dog is furious at the tail. Like he's so angry at the tail. And that's just the funny image. So yeah,
It's
I get
like
you.
it's like we are seeing it like a caricature. You know,
What?
caricature. Simon, can you translate?
Caricature.
Yeah.
No
Ah,
clue what it is.
Caricature is like an exaggeration cartoon usually of something.
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you say it's like a joke, and the greatest joke. I mean, this is a movie. This is just a movie, and we are playing our role, and we are being an actor. And yeah, it is in a certain way of funny because it's hilarious. Like, how can you think like this or what? But that's the way it is, right? But the biggest joke, it's hilarious. Like, we strive for awareness, we strive for contentment, we strive for being eternally in happiness, and people call it enlightenment and like getting out of the story and all of that. And I had a glimpse of 5. And one glimpse was where I just stepped into this space of just being. And I had to laugh for 3 days afterwards because there's nothing. We are striving for something, and then we get there, there's nothing. There was the biggest cosmic joke I ever experienced. In seriously, 2 days I was just laughing because it was so hilarious. We like want to get somewhere which apparently is paradise, and then we are there, there's nothing. We are present. You know, it's nothing. It's hilarious. But then in the
Simon called it the troll of life.
Yeah.
yes, and it's a cosmic joke. What came out of that though is that okay, I can relax. There's nothing to strive for. Just be here and enjoy this moment. And wow, that's all what there is to it. And then at one point, we're going to be in the presence of nothingness. And I guess then at one point we get bored and think, oh no, let's incarnate again on planet Earth. It's such a crazy, nice story and so many experiences. Like, yeah, that's what I understood also through that is like really when we are at home, so to speak, we are just, there's nothing happening. We don't act, we don't speak, we don't feel, there's just presence and beingness. We don't even see anything. We are just present, we are just aware. And then coming here, wow, I can feel, I can move, I can do all these or have all these experiences. That's fantastic in my book. It's a pleasure. It's just wow. And then being in that space as much or as often as we remember and just look around and wow, I have a body, I can do things, da 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 da. For me, that's then suddenly the essence of life. Just enjoy it, just experience it. And coming back to the plant medicines, it's like they really give us a felt experience of that because it circumvents our mind, our ego. We are just present and we just experience. And after that, finding that without the plant medicine and bringing that into everyday life is a wonderful way to be present, period. Make sense?
Oh yeah. 100%. For you know, when you're on some sort of medicine, could be many, you know, you either get an elevated view of everything, or you just sense and you understand a lot more somehow. And then when you look around and you can feel, or there's literally dust and dirt on the floor, and you can look at it and you can see like this is incredible. It's just like beyond a miracle. Like every every little thing that we take for granted, it's just beyond magic. And because there isn't this attachment and ego that is just like looking at everything it doesn't have and everything that is wrong. It just sees what is. It's just being. And you know, even based on just the science that we know, like, you know, it's okay to be scientific, and it's okay to be an atheist and whatever you want to be. That's fine, which I used to very much be. But even according to this, like, nothing makes sense. Life and existence and reality doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. It's not really, I don't know if it's supposed to be here or not, but it's surely not logical or measurable.
No.
And so everything is magic. And
Look at,
yeah,
like, wow, what a thing, right? And then looking out nature and seeing like everything, like, wow, how this all works together, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's magic. And comes to mind what Osho, that's the only quote I still have in my mind from Osho, basically, is like, life is a mystery which cannot be understood, but it can be lived. So like, yeah, there's no way to explain this. This is just out of it. And so no worry, I don't need to explain why the grass is green or why or how this works or this or that. Science is great, so we can achieve things like cars and stuff, right? Computers, so we over distance, and that's all fun. But that's the 3D world, and the mind also, and that brings us back to plant medicines. The mind is not made for things like this. It's not made for understanding that I can connect with you no matter where you are, other end of the galaxy, if we have like some way of communicating or connecting. Also, even some people can do that even without a phone. We are connected. And that is something not understandable for the mind. The mind is made for making a computer and starting a car and repairing a car and
surviving.
living reality. And plant medicines, so it doesn't understand or see this whole picture. Yeah. I remember the first time I took an acid, I was like 16 or 17. It was fucking crazy because it was really like, yeah, there's more. There's really more. Like, wow, this is incredible. And it was real, and it is real. Aura seeing or auras, we know scientifically that that is real. They have a camera to make a photo of your aura. So, but then suddenly seeing it for yourself with the help of a medicine, it did shift my whole reality, because then I knew I wasn't crazy. There is more. And by and by, then you step into that. Excuse me. Step into this other reality of, I don't even know how to explain. It's not explainable. It's just, it needs to be experienced. And plant medicines are an enormous beneficial tool to get us out of our 3D mind and into this bigger picture. So in a certain way, it's not right for everybody. And check it out, feel it out, see what attracts you from stories and what, and try out something, be it pot even, or ayahuasca, or wachuma, that's San Pedro, or iboga if you're a junkie, you know, if you need to get off your addiction. Iboga is an amazing medicine. I know personally people who were alcoholics, one time Iboga, no more, and no fight. It just drops because you get an understanding, you get a felt experience. And the only warning I would like to give to people is to really do it right, meaning not just go into a bar and have a smoke of 5-MeO DMT, bufo, or some DMT or ecstasy or this. Have a preparation, do the ceremony, and have integration. And really feel into the practitioner, because it is getting very popular. And I know people who took one time ayahuasca and then go like, oh, I'm an ayahuasquera now. Now I can serve ayahuasca. They have no clue. There are so many things one wants to be aware of, medical and psychological and stuff. So if you find a practitioner who is really informed, feel it out and see if that works for you, and step into your beingness.
So I have a little bit of a different question.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a little bit of an age difference between us, a little bit. And so you have a lot of wisdom and experience. You have to have, because you have more life. You have to. And you also grew up in an interesting place, in an interesting time, with interesting people, Germans, right? Or are
Yes.
you? What part of Germany are you from?
From Hamburg, West
Hamburg.
Germany.
Okay. And yeah, they like to party. They like to hallucinate in clubs, I think.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the extent of it. But you, I'm sure, have always been quite different. Am I right?
Yes.
So can you share a little bit about how you felt, and maybe, ask you a few other questions, because now you're helping facilitate, or you are just in the environment of changing people's lives and healing them through plant medicine, and you're living in the mountains in Peru, right? Or so, from a young guy in Hamburg doing his first acid, right, and seeing some truth to where you are. There's been a few chapters, I'm sure, and I'd like to know, how did you get where you are?
Okay. Well, it was actually pretty easy. Yes, I was always different. I could never understand what the heck is going on here and how people are thinking and experience things. And at the same time, growing up, you want to fit. You want to do the thing which you've been told what you need to do, right? Get married, get a job, have children, do the whole 9 yards, which is what we grew up with. 1954 in Germany, that's what you do. And I really tried very hard. Like, I got engaged, I tried to get good study going and get a job, and had so many experience, and it never ever worked. After 2-3 months in a job, I go like, okay, done. Something new. I could not find that Germanness in me, or that normalness in me. And so when I was around 21, I finally decided, okay, this is not it. I have no clue what, but not this. This doesn't work for me. And I took off to India. India came into my mind, into my heart, into my being. And so I just went overland to India and started to look for something which I had no clue what I'm looking for. But I knew I don't find it in Germany. And yes, I had in Germany already my first acid experience, and then took mushrooms and grew, smoked pot and hash and all of that, what you do. And then I went on the journey, and somewhat it went away at that time from the psychedelics and went more into like looking, trying to find something outside, which would be giving me an answer, which also didn't work. And then I became again a good hippie, and lots of mushrooms and acid and ecstasy later on. And they were always nice experiences, but they were really focused on having a good time. It was not like an intentional journey to find out more about myself. Then I met a master. Focus went inside. I did some work on myself, workshops, groups, getting rid of programs or becoming more aware of them. They still are there. They pop up every now and then, but it's like, yeah, right. You don't pay attention anymore when you know that has nothing to do with you. And then I met my partner, Piazza, in Hawaii, like 23, 24 years ago. And she already worked with psychedelics and plant medicines for many, many, many years. And it actually saved her life, which is a different story I can't tell. But then she introduced me into intentional journeys, where I'm not just taking it for the fun of it, but there's an intention, there's a focus on it. And it changed everything. It became really more beneficial in a certain way to really focus really inside and have an intention, finding out what, it really depends. And so for many years, we did ceremonies with Ayahuasca here in Peru, and also who held space and was helping. And it went then on to, that was Ayahuasca, and then it went on to Bufo, that is 5-MeO DMT, which is not a psychedelic. It's an ethnogenic. It basically, you don't get any visions of different planets and different beings or colors or what. No, you're just there. There's suddenly neither this nor that. And it's called the God molecule. So that really gave the really intense felt experience of isness. And there's no duality anymore. But the intention setting, the preparation, and the integration was and is the real important part. And that really then gives me the ability to put that into my life. It's not just a party or an experience. And how different that is, I just felt where I had like about half a year ago, the first MDMA experience as with a person who was guiding me. So not party, not putting all the energy, the juiciness out, but bringing it in for myself. The experience was 10 million light years different than when I took it for going out in a party. The intention setting, and it was amazing. So we can use any substance for party, nothing wrong with it, I did it a lot, or we can use it for growth. And yeah, having had that felt experience, there's no other choice but trying to share it and help other people become more themselves, getting out of the programs, getting more clear.
So for
Really,
people that, sorry, for people that don't know, can you explain what is non-duality?
it's neither this nor that. There's neither good nor bad. There's neither day nor light. It's like we are above that. You just see it as something. For example, emotions. We have so-called negative emotions and we have positive emotions. But when I'm in the non-dual place, I'm above that. And it's neither this nor that. It's just is. There's just an energy. There's no judgment anymore. There's no preference anymore. There's just an observance of what is.
I can try to help explain from the perspective of the person that has never even heard this. Non-dual. Well, they're living in a reality where there's dual, there's two, or there's more. There is me, and then there's everything else.
Yeah.
That's one way of thinking. And actually, when we have certain experiences, or when we take some plant medicine, we can see, feel, and know that there is no me and you, that all is one. And this is something that every single culture alludes to, every single religion alludes to. If it's Christianity, to become one with Christ, or one with God, that is one, and that is the creator of everything, the heavens, it's all one. And in Judaism and Islam and Hinduism, Buddhism is nothing even exists, right? So if nothing exists, so everything is nothing, and nothing is right. So it's all these cultures, all religions, actually, all spirituality alludes to and leads to non-duality. But and when we, for me, I've experienced a few times where, I didn't even feel like I am me. I didn't even feel like Simon. I didn't know what I was. So I was not really something. And so there was no separation. And then there's another element to this that I'll add, is when you really, really look at people and you really understand people, usually you would judge. You would think this person is fat, this person is beautiful, this person is ugly, and this person is better than me, or I'm better than this person. And we're judging, and we're comparing, and the mind does this to survive. But when we really understand the big picture, and we really understand people in every single way, we understand that everybody is the same, everybody wants the same, nobody is really better than anybody. It's just relative. Somebody is richer, somebody, we feel like they are maybe more attractive or more charismatic, but that's us judging.
Yes.
And when we remove judgment, then everything is one. So the difference between me and my laptop right now, this is a judgment. It's not real. So does that help a little bit, Alex?
Oh yeah, sure.
Do anything else that you can think of that maybe wasn't clear?
No, this is something that people need to experience anyway. But it's a bit clearer.
Okay. So
yeah, it's also like, try to explain an acid trip. Can't. It's like, what? So one wants to experience it. So like, again, the understanding is coming only through experience and not through head understanding, because the head is not made for that. What are you talking about? You see auras. What is an aura in the first place? It doesn't exist. I can't see it. Yeah. And the experience, the felt experience, is the important part. And then we know. Yeah. And what you said, Simon, about judgment is very important, because the judgment comes from the mind, comes from our understanding, from where we are looking. Yeah, like if you have a 6 on the floor and you stand on the right and we stand on the left, I see a 9, you see a 6. We are both right. It just depends from where we're looking at. Yeah. So there is no judgment anymore. And when I'm not judging, mind you, my mind is really quick. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she's ugly. Oh, this is like what? But observing that and becoming aware of that, the judgment slowly falls away. Then we just know that, well, I don't know. I don't know if this person is good or bad. I don't know if this situation is good or bad. I just know I have a broken leg. Or I just know I don't feel resonance with that person. Or I feel I need distance because there's some energy I'm not really vibing with. But then there's no judgment, there's just recognition of such is the thing. And that gives us absolute freedom. We're suddenly free.
So you've now mentioned 2 times auras, and so I would like to ask you about this. I know somebody who trying not to judge, but a little bit. I know somebody who said that he sees auras and that he is a master of energy, and yet I found him to be very, very clueless about energy and not feeling and not flowing with real energy, just more even trying to control it. And yeah, so not saying that's you, but that person really didn't understand. Like I was seeing and hearing from him 2 different things, what I was seeing. So I'd like to understand about your experience, because I don't see auras. Maybe I feel energies. You don't? So
I don't.
uh-huh.
I had moments. There was some exercise I did in the past where you kind of like unfocus and you can see auras or suddenly different faces of the persons. But excuse me. I'm on 10,000 feet. It's like I do feel and not see energy, but I just know. And we all have different ways of seeing it. And there are people who can see auras, definitely. And there's people who can work and feel energy and be present with that. That's just the difference we all are. You know, like there is people like this and there's people like that. And what the important part is, what you said is, we really want to be aware. Is that just somebody who took one time ayahuasca and now he's an ayahuasquero and has actually no clue? Comes from the head and not from the experience. And then it's not a judgment, it's just a recognition of, yeah, okay, this is just head bug. And I'd rather work with people who experience that and are present. So, beautiful tool. People can point out, seeing the aura, what's out of balance or what needs more work. And yeah, it's great that you can feel that that is not in alignment with what's coming out of the mouth and out of the energy. And definitely always go with that, yes. But
Yeah.
I don't see.
Okay.
I don't hear anything. When I give a session or a reading, I'm stepping aside. Vinaya is stepping aside. That's how I can explain it. And then that person just talks through me. And there's often stuff coming out where my mind goes like, what the heck are you saying? But I can see it's always right. We are all different in our gifts, in the way of working and helping. And yeah, I don't see, hear, no visions. I just know. So yeah.
It's very difficult for people to accept this, you know?
It's easy when I give a reading and they're skeptical, but then I say something which I could not have known, and I don't know. But they are speaking through me, and then they go like, whoa, right. Yeah, so again, experience is needed. So yeah, and it's hard for some people to accept, and that's great. You're on a different page, you do your story, and you're not interested or not open, nothing wrong with that. So inviting the people where we can actually help because they're curious, then there's no more question. Then it's just, okay, let me check it out. Like often I hear, like, I'm so curious, what are you doing? Sit down and check it out. Yeah, makes sense.
So for me, yes. Um, yeah, I mean, I believe that people have different gifts, and I'm starting more and more to believe that you know, I mean, I know for sure from my experiences that there's weird things that just don't make sense, but they are real, right? And you know, I come from a very logical, very kind of um non-believing perspective, and like that's been totally shattered like so many times. So I've gotten to the point where I've given up. Like I don't know what is real and what is not real anymore, and I'm just open. Like I just whatever happens, I let it happen. So yes, it makes sense. um Obvious, like I said, reality doesn't make sense. We just want it to. We we expect it to follow, physical laws, and it does until it doesn't. Like even now, there's like problems in quantum mechanics and things like that that people don't understand. It doesn't follow a logic, or they can't put down the math, and they can't connect big things and small things. It doesn't make sense, and it's okay. I think a very healing lesson is to just let that go and accept that, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, we're
The way it is.
yeah, we're floating on a ball in the middle of nowhere. There's this sun that is gonna burn us one day and explode, but until then it's keeping us nice and warm, and we like it, and we just hope not to explode like in on the way like to where we're going, but we're not even going anywhere. We're and there is no
Right.
limit to, like, nothing makes sense. So yeah, just have to let go. uh, and we do that by, like, what the plant medicine does. It helps us detach from our ego, from our attachments, from our needing, going back almost full circle to what we began with needing our wife to finally love us and accept us. It's so real, this need, and it's so powerful, and yet it's also ridiculous from the other perspective. Once you get it, it's nothing. To Once you don't need validation anymore, and you don't need your wife's love or your mother's forgiveness or your brother's help or support from your father and validation. Once you need that, once you stop needing it, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, plant medicines, they've been used for thousands of years. And whose benefit? The cultures who use it, like the Shipi, not Shipibo, yeah, the Shipibo in the Amazon, they don't have the problems we have in our modern society. There is no strife. Well, it's changing, but there was no strife or anything or greed or what. And it was just used as a medicine, as a help. Somebody had a problem, they drank ayahuasca together and solved the problem. I'm more aware of what's behind the story. And, gazillions of ways. And yeah, plant medicines really fast track us. In the past, it was made like sit 40 years in the cave in the mountains and meditate and maybe get there. Now we have these tools from Mother Nature. And I can't say that they made me free or they made me become more aware. It was a combination between inner work, awareness, exercise, meditation, and the plant medicine, and my difference from the very beginning, all together, mixed together, it kind of like brought me to the space where I'm here now. And I can see with people we are working with and facilitating, the change in their life is immense. And wow, like, yes, now you stepped into your power. Now you're actually doing what you wanted to do always. Now you're actually free from these stories. And it can be extremely helpful. Not for everybody. Spiritual wise, where they're at, and physical and mentally, sometimes it's not possible to take these medicines. That's why one wants to be also a little bit careful. Like, if your facilitator doesn't give you a medical intake before he even talks to you, don't even think about it. Right? Because there's medicines, even supplements we take normally these days, which can really kill you. Or combining different medicines together, ayahuasca and bufo. You probably get a serotonin overload and you can die. Or there's many reasons, so one needs to look at it. But if everything is really feeling right and is solid, wow, I invite you to take the step and jump into the unknown and have a wonderful life afterwards. Not guaranteed, but
My mind is a bit elsewhere when you were talking about how people used to solve problems. They had a problem, they would drink ayahuasca together and problem solved.
yeah.
And my mind was like, hey, if only like the government of Israel and Palestine, like instead of investing billions and billions on bombs and weapons and terror tunnels, they would just buy like some ayahuasca and like, for a
Even
few million,
mushrooms.
some mushrooms or whatever instead of that, and just like have, I know it's not gonna happen, but hypothetically, if they all took ayahuasca together, the next day they wouldn't want to fight anymore. They would love each other much
Yes.
more, at least.
Yes.
And it's so effective and so much cheaper, right? Than exploding people and hurting people. It's so much nicer. But again, there's all this story, right? But I'm just thinking that's like that's a real solution. Like it could work.
It will work. It would work. And well, I'm not political. I think it's planet Earth somewhat is the nut house of the galaxy. They send all the crazy ones down here. But like when we talked about everybody has their own path and needs their own experience, that's what they apparently need to experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a beautiful story from Krishna time, a parable. Yes, to understand something. There was this king, I forgot the name. There was this king who died and had 3 sons. And so now they were fighting who's going to be the next king. And the one son, the one prince, Krishna was the advisor to him. He was sitting in his chariot and he saw all these thousands of people who are going to die now just because he wants to be king. And he said to Krishna, no, man, I can't do that. I'd rather go in a cave and meditate than kill all these people. And Krishna's answer basically was, no, you have to do that. This is your role. Their role is to die. This is a game. Do not take it serious and play your role. I don't want to justify now what's happening on the planet in various regions. I don't think it's a great thing. And I don't know if it's good or bad. I just know that in this moment, quite a few people are banging each other's heads for, in my book, no reason at all. And yes, the plant medicine would be able to help, and it will never happen because they're playing their role, their game. And in this whole movie, who wrote the script, holy schmoop, that was
Vinaya, I call this their purpose. Everybody has a purpose, right?
Yes.
And their purpose. So yeah, it's sad and things happen, but it's supposed to happen and it's their purpose.
But I want to say something that like I understand the story that you shared, Vinaya. Krishna, right? I actually don't know a lot of stories about Krishna, or Hinduism isn't really something that I've learned a lot of, but he's not saying that they need to die because he doesn't care. That it doesn't. Right. He's not saying, and Alex right now doesn't say that it's their purpose, and too bad, like it's nothing. We understand from outside when we grow spiritually and we can see things more clearly, and we can understand that all the stories that we have, all the suffering that we experience, all the things that we go through, we only think they mean something. And because we think and are so attached, that's why we play them out. That's why we can't take ayahuasca and solve the problems. And so we are where we are, and we're meant to be there. And it's the nature of people to look at this and judge again and see how horrific it is. And from their perspective, right, 6 and 9, of course it's horrific. And if I was there, I would suffer, I would cry, I would feel pain, right? But they are also in some ways there by choice.
Yes.
Some for some reasons they are there exactly where they are because of their choices and their actions. And I'm talking about both sides, not one side. Everybody that suffers. Usually we are, no matter how we are, we bring about our suffering. And if it's not us, in some ways it's our ancestors. And I know from my own healing how much I've dealt with that and how much of suffering I received and got. So yeah, I'm kind of opening a new dimension now to this conversation. But that's, I just wanted to explain that, like, we're not evil, cold-hearted, like tyrants that think, yeah, it's okay that people die, that we don't have compassion for them. It's just that at some point, like, even as healers, you have to detach and you have to let go, and you have to not be attached to what your students or your patients will do. They're going to continue hurting themselves until they learn, until they change their own mind and heart and heal, and then they're going to enjoy a different experience if they choose that. That's their choice, and they're empowered to do that, and they are right now being empowered to not do that.
Right. And it's really great that you say that. For me, at one point, like when I was, I don't know, 17, 18, I was actually checking out the church. And I went with some youth group and we tried to change things. And I learned that, no, I cannot change anybody. I cannot change the world. The only thing I can change is myself, maybe. But but then understanding that and actually changing myself and becoming more myself and being more present and being more aware, suddenly, as a side effect, people change because we live in example. And that's how we can change the world, by changing ourselves. And yes, it's not about being cold and like, oh yeah, that's their story and what. Yeah, no, I'm not really a fan of what's going on around here on planet Earth, right? And I also don't even understand how people can figure to be like this. But it doesn't really matter, because the only thing which matters is who am I, and do I live my truth and my presence? And that, bit by bit, can change the world. You do that, Alex is doing it, hundreds of other people are doing it, spreading presence. And that can make a difference. The
100%.
100 monkey effect. You heard of that, right?
No, please share.
Yeah. So, and it's scientifically proven totally. I mean, so, okay, there was some, on an island in Japan, there was some scientists studying some monkeys. And they threw fruits and food on the beach, and it was sandy, and somewhat the monkeys had a problem with it. So they taught one monkey to clean the fruit before they eat it. Yeah, cool. So that monkey taught other monkeys to do that. And at one point, every monkey on the island knew that without even necessarily having a contact with the other monkey. And on the mainland, suddenly, every monkey knew that. So they went a little bit deeper into that story and had a liquid gas where it was incoherent. So everything was going blah, 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 like crazy. And for some, one way or another, I don't know, they brought 1% of that liquid into coherence, where they all like were swinging together, I guess. Instantly, when they reached 1%, the whole rest got into coherence. That's the 100 monkey effect. So if there's enough, or when there are enough people who are self-aware and in the presence and living from their heart, apparently the whole humanity will flip and everybody will be in that space. So that's the kind of, not hope, I don't hope for anything, but like that's a possibility that we can create by being part of that 1%. We live in the present.
That resonates so much with me because, as you know, me and Alex were working now on helping coaches be more of themselves, be their real selves. Like even as coaches, they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to explain themselves. They don't know how to break things down, and this is hurting their progress because they have a job to do. They're not being their true selves because they haven't developed these tools. So it's very encouraging for me to hear and to really understand like what I'm doing by helping other coaches as well. I had resistance to that. But I have a lot to share to these people. So thank you. That was really wonderful.
That's exactly what I tried to explain you today, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ah, what an adventure we have, right?
Yes.
Life, my gosh. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's I think it's time for bed soon. I think that it was an amazing, amazing interesting conversation, Vinaya. Thank you so much. And yeah, it was fun as always. Uh, yeah, and we can do some more soon.
Anytime. I love talking.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. And it's really nourishing to be understood and be able to have a real conversation, not like about the weather or whatever, which, sometimes is fun. But it's more nourishing for me, at least, to be understood and be seen and see other people who are on the same page. And that's wonderful. And any day, guys.
That's why we wanted to talk with you again, for the exact reason. Same reason. So thank you.
Thank you. And have a wonderful night.